Hey, what's up, guys? It is Rob, and I am back with my official movie room for 2020. It's been a long time coming. I was actually planning on doing this in February, and it is now August, and I finally got it finished. And I was kind of going back and forth on what I wanted to do, where I wanted to, put things, how I wanted to, to display certain things, and I finally got around to it, and I kind of have it the way I want it, at least for this room. If I end up moving to a bigger place, obviously I'm going to have a lot more to play with. So I even have movies down here that I can't even fit on any shelves because I don't have enough room. I don't have enough shelf space. So for the most part, I got everything up. And that's not to mention, all the VHS movies that I have in my closet, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of go over what I have here displayed and, just kind of take a little bit at a time here. So let's start over in this corner. All right, let's start over here in this little wall here. I got my Raiders of the Lost Ark poster. And then underneath that, I have my, Indiana Jones DVD box set. I have the Blu-ray box set right there in the middle. And then I have the VHS box set, which is the Indiana Jones trilogy. With the original 3 films. Now, this cabinet here is just a mix of stuff. I have like the Blade Runner movies, Short Circuits, Tomb Raiders. Have some Power Ranger stuff there. Down here I have the Fast and the Furious movies, Jumanji, some Bruce Lee stuff. I have some action films with comedies down here. Like the American Pie films, Dumb and Dumber, all that stuff. Down here, I have the Transformers section with the original DVD box sets of the Generation 1 show from the 80s, the Transformers 80s show. So that's really cool. And then on the bottom, I have the Lord of the Rings stuff, some Mortal Kombat stuff, and so on. So this is just a kind of a random, I guess you could just say a random DVD shelf, Blu-ray shelf cabinet. Now over here is something I'm very proud of. I really love this. I decided to display my Friday the 13th and Halloween VHS collection. And then kind of display, some figures and stuff like that. So over here, I have the 4K Halloween. It's the Steelbook, the 2018 movie, which is really awesome. So I decided to display that. And then over here, I have the Jason, Friday 13th Part 2 Jason NECA figure, which is, closed figure, real cloth. I have the Pennywise, Funko Pop there. Then I have a Freddy Krueger figure. That's not a NECA figure. I forgot which line it is, but he's also a cloth figure. And I got Ben Hanscom from the It movie. I got Red from the movie Us, Funko Pop. There's Adelaide from Us. And then is the NECA Jason figure from Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, which he's standing right in front of. Over here I have the Friday the 13th Steelbook, which is also, also cool. So I got both Steelbooks, on each side there. And they're actually releasing, this is kind of cool, they're actually releasing a Nightmare on Elm Street Steelbook, the 1984 film. So I'm definitely going to get that and display it up here too. But in the background here, I got all the VHS movies. Of course, on the bottom, I got all the Friday the 13th on VHS. Pretty much in mint condition. Jason Goes to Hell I put up there. But then you got all the Halloweens here, all the way to H2O. So that's kind of a cool little display shelf. And then up there I got the It poster and the Jaws poster. And now this whole shelf, or cabinet, so to say, is my horror section. And this is just part of it. I have a bunch of other horror sections around here. But, you know, like up here is my Wild Eye stuff. And I got the Maneater series at the end there. And then, you know, Leprechaun, Cloverfield. Just you know, different horror films. And I have them in series order, you know, like the Hostel films, Open Water, Wrong Turns, Laid to Rest, Final Destination, Amityville, Joyride, Phantasm, you know, Howling, just all that stuff. You know, the Prophecy films, some cannibal films, I Spit on Your Grave, the George Romero films, basically my zombie stuff there. Just... you know, just all different kinds. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacres, Grudge, all sorts of stuff. And I will be doing reviews on each of these films, just to let you know, when it comes down to it. And all the way to the bottom there. VFW, that was a fantastic movie. So yeah, this cabinet is full of horror movies. So those are the first two cabinets there. Now, this middle cabinet, which is actually three separate cabinets that are kind of stuck together, makes it look like one big thing. This is just mainly Blu-rays. I do have DVDs at the bottom there. But, yeah, this is just mainly where I put all my Blu-rays. Now, we'll start over here, I guess. Here I have the Karate Kid headband. I have the Rocky VHS box set. I have the Transformers VHS tapes from Kid Rhino Home Video. Those are pretty cool. Those are, you know, from the 80s. Here's my only Hot Toys figure. Hot Toys figures are very expensive. They're like hundreds of dollars. This is Tony Stark from Iron Man 3. Called The Mechanic. Basically the scene where he goes into the mansion and, you know, kind of like a covert op kind of thing. Really, really lifelike, you know, awesome looking figure, man. The hand right there lights up like he's shooting the, you know, the laser thing. Really cool figure. Over here is the Godfather VHS set, which is pretty cool. Over here is the, you know, the Gray Sports Almanac from Back to the Future. Here I got the Godfather Legacy set, which is VHS. Here I have the Goonies 25th anniversary set. And they're also coming out with another Goonies set on 4K, which looks cool. Here I have the Back to the Future Complete Adventures limited edition box set that actually lights up and stuff. I got the Superman collection there on Blu-ray. Then I got the Superman VHS collection, which is pretty awesome. Up here I got a Michael Myers mug. It says Terror Never Rests in Peace. I don't remember where I got that. I got that somewhere. Here I got the Freddy glove. I'm going to be taking this down probably and putting it somewhere else. I got Avengers Infinity War poster. I wanted to put all horror stuff here. So that might be a little addition. And I'll keep you guys updated. So anyway, let's go over the shelves a little bit here. Starting here, I got the Alien Legacy VHS collection on in a really cool box set. Here I have a box set that says 200 horror movies, Tales of Terror, 50 discs in over 260 hours. That is a really cool set. A lot of those movies are just, they're not very good, but, you know, it is pretty cool to have over 200 movies on that thing. And here we have one of my prized possessions, and that is the Nightmare on Elm Street VHS box set. Really, really cool set there. I like how it shows a picture of Freddy, but you can flip it over and have a different design. So, pretty awesome. Now, let's go down here and I'll just show you guys what I have here. So, here's my Severin Films, Vestron Video. I have Vinegar Syndrome, Blue Underground, Arrow Video, just all kinds of stuff, different companies. Then over here we got, you know, like Insidious films, The Conjuring Universe, Tremors, just all different kinds of horror movies. And like I said, I have them in series order: Paranormal Activity films, the you know, subspecies movies, just different things. And pretty soon they start to turn into just random, you know, random horror films. I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but you get the gist of it. But yeah, I mean, you know, this took me a while. Like I said, when you have this many films, it's really hard to kind of know what you're doing. You know, where are you going to place all this stuff? Because you just have so many. And you have to like make sure that you put them in series order, so you have to make sure you have the right movies for the series, and then put those aside until you can figure out what to do. Down here is kind of like my Disney Pixar section. I have, you know, like The Lion King, Inside Out, Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, all kinds of movies, the Toy Story movies, and so on. So all these shelves here are just full of Blu-rays. And like I said, there's just some random DVDs at the bottom. Nothing in particular, really. But, yeah. So there's just Blu-ray after Blu-ray after Blu-ray. So it's pretty cool. That is what the cabinet is dedicated for. So I've showed you those two cabinets and these. So now we're going to move over to this cabinet. And up here is my autographed picture from Tony Moran, you know, from Halloween 1, the first movie. There's a picture of him there. I met him, I think it was last year. So, really cool. There's me in Philadelphia. I'm standing, if I can get a clear shot here. I'm standing on top of the Rocky Steps looking out. That was like a really cool thing that I did there. Now, this shelf is basically horror and superheroes. This whole cabinet. So on top here, I got the Friday 13th Blu-ray Complete Collection set. I got the Chucky Blu-ray set. I got the 10-disc Halloween Blu-ray set, signed, again, by Tony Moran. He signed that, and then he signed the picture, of course. So I got that there. I got the Phantasm collection, the Blu-ray collection that came in the Sphere, or with the Sphere thing. And then I got the Scream Factory Critters collection box set. And then over here is the Sphere that came with the, you know, the Blu-ray set. So down here is my Scream Factory collection. I do have Scream Factory DVDs as well. And then I added, of course, you know, like the Lake Placid films in with the Lake Placid one, you know, just to keep it in order. Down here I have some Kino Lorber stuff. And my Godzilla stuff, King Kong stuff, and then more horror films. I got the Universal Monsters at the end there with Hellraiser. And, you know, just some series movies. I have the Saw films, the Jaws films, the Alien stuff, the Predator stuff, the Scream stuff, Blair Witch, all that stuff. It's crazy. Down here, the last two shelves are dedicated to superheroes. So here's my DC shelf, okay? I have all my DC films, you know, the Zack Snyder stuff, the new DC stuff, the old DC stuff, and here's the DC animated movies. And here I have the Batman animated series, which is one of my favorite cartoons to watch. Down here is my Marvel shelf, okay? I have all the MCU films. And then I also have other Marvel films that aren't a part of the MCU. And I also have the X-Men stuff. So, and I also have the X-Men cartoon, the 90s cartoon, all 5 volumes. So that's, yeah, that's that cabinet. Basically, horror movies and superheroes. Now, the cabinet with the sphere is pretty random. It's just DVDs and some Blu-rays here, but I got like the Turtles films, the Jurassic Parks, and then it turns into TV shows. So I got Home Improvement. Down here, I got some shows from the 80s and even 90s. I got the Turtles right there, cartoon, all, all the seasons. I got like, Street Sharks, David the Gnome, Zelda, Cops, Heathcliff, Captain and the Game Master, just some of those old cartoons. Down here, I got Game of Thrones, I got Family Matters, Stranger Things, Jersey Shore, don't remind me, I hate that show. I don't even know why I have that. Survivor, Lost. Down here, I displayed some of my NECA figures. I got Shredder from the 1990 Turtles movie. He looks awesome. He's got this really cool cape. And then I have Egon from Ghostbusters 2. This is the figure from Ghostbusters 2, and I don't have any other Ghostbusters, but I got Egon because, Harold Ramis is no longer with us, and he was definitely an important Ghostbuster, so this is my paying homage to him. So, really cool. All right, so then we have this little thing, which is basically dedicated, I guess, to horror films. There's mostly horror on here. It's just this cheap little DVD shelf that I got. Just different films on here. There's thrillers on here too, but yeah, a lot of it is horror movies and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it helps. You can stack 2 of them on each little shelf, so it really helps, to maintain some room there. So then over here, I got my Terminator poster, which I really, really love. And this is the newest shelf I got because I got this at a garage sale for like $5. And, it holds DVDs and Blu-rays. So I just went ahead and just added different things. I got the Star Wars movies, Back to the Futures, Rambo's. It's just kind of random. It's got both horror and, just regular films on here. Karate Kid movies. It just kind of gets random. Then down here, I started with more horror films, and so on. So I have a lot of movies. I'm not going to lie. I'm sure you can see that. But I still, like I said, I still have more right there that I just don't know. I don't know what to do with. So anyway, that is a general overview of my entire movie room. And yeah, it's like I said, it's been a long time coming, and I'm really happy to show it to you guys. So there will be some tweaks here and there that I'm probably going to do. Like I said, I'm probably going to take down some posters and add some posters, and even add some stuff on that wall there. So there's going to be some modifications, and when I do have the modifications, I will let you guys know. I will do update videos showing you guys my progress, and what I plan to do and what I have done. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this. It means a lot. And yeah, I'll be back with more videos. And yeah, like I said, check the description of each video I do if you're confused if it's a new or old video. I've been really posting that on every video in the description just to make sure that there's no confusion. And so far it's been working fine. So, but yeah, this is a brand new video, my movie room for 2020. So this is Rob signing off. Have a good day. See you in the next one.